Oh, fuck. What's up, guys? Dave from R.Y.S.E Movement here for another episode of Talking Out Loud. About to go to the gym, train arms, and do some Airdyne treadmill sprints. Today, Talking Out Loud, I am tired. I am fucking tired. It's been a massive week, lots of clients, lots of content, lots of editing, and I'm knackered. I can't wait to be able to finish this because that's my training week done. No jiu-jitsu this week because I'm letting this thing heal. It's almost there. Got a few bigger scabs that are itchy as shit and I want to take a piece of steel wool to and scratch the shit out of my arm, but not going to let those thoughts take over because then my beautiful art made by my friend R.Y.S.E down at Loco Tattoos in Mermaid Waters at Q Store. Nothing from Nowhere on Instagram. Go check him out. He's absolutely amazing. Anyway, I'm not going to ruin his work, no matter how much I want to chop my fucking arm off. At this stage, I'm just rambling. I'm exhausted, guys. I need to have a big night of sleep. But we've got shit to do. We've got work to do. So today, we're going to be using some of this, some cross-eyed. Pick this up from Nutrition Warehouse, and it's my new favorite pre at the moment. I like it. I like it. All since Berserk you can't get in Australia anymore. That was really good. Anyway, this is just as good. If anything, it's a little bit better energy. Not as much peak and then valley when it comes to the come down. So we're gonna go double scoop is a full clinical dose serve of this bad boy. And it also tastes pretty damn good. Possessed pine mango flavor. Let's send it. Got my old Outlast nutrition shaker here. Used to be sponsored by this company. Helped formulate their pre-workout Outlaw. And then decided that I didn't want to be a part of the fitness industry in that capacity anymore. I didn't want to be slaving myself out on social media, having to do forced posts, forced advertisements, saying how good the supplements were and crap like that. And then the company ended up getting partially sold and then dissolved. Who knows what happened with this company. Anyway, if you were around for the old Outlast days, you remember our pre-workout, what was it? Outrage was the first one. That was damn good. And then dimethylbutylamine got banned in Australia thanks to the TGA. And then, so we went from DMBA to DMHA, hexylamine. That stuff was good. That stuff was hectic. Nothing compares to the old days of a little over 10 years ago using the original Jacked, the original Mesomorph, all the original ones that had 1,3-dimethylamine in them. But we've got our next best thing here, and we're going to go pick some things up and put them down. I just noticed that the flowers are starting to come out into the lawn, meaning that spring is pretty much here. Winter's pretty much done. Get to start going to the beach again, taking the kids down, and experiencing all that good stuff. One of the worst things about where we live is people do this. Fucking Teslas park like right on the driveway, and there's another car right there on the driveway. You have 15 centimeters either side of the driveway, even though apparently the law is meant to be 2 meters each side that you can't park in front of someone's driveway. I think when I get to the gym, I need to blast some Limp Bizkit break stuff to be able to put me into the mood to train, because fuck me, I don't want to train today. I've been training since 2000 and on and off in high school, year 11 and 12. So that's 2005, 2006. Started going to train properly every day after work when I worked at Macca's in 2007, and then been in commercial gyms ever since mid 2007. So, God, that's a long time. Holy shit. What's that, 16 years? 16 years I've been going to the gym, 16 years I've been training. You know, before that, martial arts and soccer and all that sort of stuff. I've always been active. But there's always time. Like, as much as I love the feeling of training, as much as I love the feeling of exertion and getting all that dopamine and, you know, getting a pump and all these good things that come from training, majority of the time, I still don't want to fucking do it. As much as I love it, I fucking hate it. Like right now, I've got nothing on today. The only thing that I have to do today is I've done all my morning clients. I had 3 clients this morning, then had a cancellation, so I got to go home early. And all I have to do today pick the kids up from school. I've got an afternoon coaching session via Zoom, and then record an episode of the podcast so that it can go out next week. I've got to edit a few clips, and that's pretty much it. Like, I don't have anything to do today. So I could literally sit at home, play Xbox, have a nap, do whatever I wanted to do instead of going to the gym. And all those things, because I'm tired, seem so much better than going to the gym. But I want the results. Like I said in the last Talking Out Loud, I want to make sure that I can get back into that same sort of bodybuilding shape. The more athletic I feel, the more athletic that I look, you know, the leaner that I look and strong and, you know, all these things, it's going to make me feel a hell of a lot better. So sometimes you have to force yourself. When it comes to going to the gym, unless you're injured or sick, if you're not feeling like you want to go to the gym, fuck your feelings. Shut the fuck up and go do what you need to do. Go do what you're meant to do. Go do what your program tells you to do. There's always time to recover. There's always times to do active recovery. There's always times to get more sleep. There's always time to be able to eat a little bit more carbs if it's in your diet, or if you can, you know, work with a coach and he can give you a diet break. But shut the fuck up and go to the gym. Get your work done. Oh, this car park's the worst. God, fucking listen to me. I'm such a negative little bitch today. I need to go home, do some meditation, and shut the fuck up. Reframe my mindset. Because today, all I'm doing is the little victim bitch boy. So the other day, I spoke into mindset and progression and everything like that. The big thing that we're looking at today is, what do you do with your mindset when you don't want to fucking train? When you can't focus on performance markers because you're feeling like a little victim and you can't be fucked training. I use a lot of psychological aids like music, mindset. I use motivational videos and things like that. Like back in the day when I was doing bodybuilding, I used to follow a guy and watch his stuff every single training session to get me amped and in that arousal state for training. And I don't know if you guys have ever watched it. It's called R.Y.S.E Motivation. There was this one, it's called Day In, Day Out. There's John Cena talking about how, you know, you get knocked down, you get back up, keep moving forward, and all these sorts of things. And I would listen to that in my headphones, sitting in, you know, the PT room at the old gym, get myself so aroused and so ready to train and be put into this state where it's like, fuck yeah, I'm going to smash it now. Go from feeling how I'm feeling now, especially while I was doing a bodybuilding prep and feeling depleted and all the rest of the things. And then get into this state where it's like, this is what we got to do. Day in, day out. We're moving.
How severe the failure? You never give up. You never give up. You pick yourself up, you brush yourself off, you push forward, you move on, you adapt, you overcome. That is what I believe. I won't be stopped. I can't be stopped.
Forward. But today, what I will be using to get me amped up is a little bit of break stuff from fuck off with your YouTube ads, go eat a dick. Exercise, dip machine, nice and stable exercise. I don't have to worry about, you know, shoulder supporter muscles or anything like that. And I can get in, get a nice pump, talk about intensity like I spoke about last time, push it, go towards failure when I'm actually doing my working sets, and then making sure that I'm reaching my performance markers. So I think today I'm gonna go for shits and giggles and just send it and try and do a full stack for as many as I can. Last week when I did this, I got plate number 13 and I can't remember how many I got. I think it was like 15 or 16 reps. So I'm just gonna send it. The weird thing with this Synergy equipment, the plates go from 1 to 15, 1 to 20. We don't actually know how much each plate worth. You know, it could be 10 pounds, could be 10 kilos, it could be a completely other arbitrary number. Who knows? So when it comes to tracking performance markers, you've got a bit of a struggle when it comes to these pieces of equipment. I kind of say add a 0 to the end of it. So if you're doing plate number 10, that's 100 pounds or 100 kilos, whichever way you want to look at it. Doesn't really matter. As long as you're tracking your volume over time, you can improve and get 1 rep better or 1 kilo better every single week. All right, let's warm it up. All right, so whenever it comes to your dip machine, make sure you anchor yourself in. The thing with dips is you get to a place where you start becoming stronger than your body weight. And so you'll end up lifting yourself out of the seat. So with this, I like to keep my feet flat on the floor so that I can use leg drive in everything. Like if you guys watched the previous video of Talking Out Loud, when I was doing my shoulder press, I was flexing my quads every single time because I'm jamming my feet into the floor because every lift starts from the ground up. You want to make sure that regardless of if you're doing a standing shoulder press, a bent over row, a deadlift, a squat, fucking dip machine, you're using the exercise from the ground up. You're using your feet into the entire movement so that you can brace properly, so you can be stable, so you can have all of your muscle recruited into it, and especially when it comes to compound exercise. So let's get into set 2, leaning forward, and watch what I do with my feet. So my feet are flat now, but like I've still got room under the pad. I press up into it like that, using the ball of my feet, and then drive straight down like that. Also, if you're in between, on the synergy stuff, if you're in between the pin and you can't really, reach the thing, put it up to the next one, jam your toes up on here, and then squash yourself into it like that. And then you're pretty locked in here. On any of the equipment in your gym, it doesn't have to be Synergy, it can be anything else. Look for color-coded things. So with the Synergy equipment, anything that's yellow means adjust. So we've got a yellow pin here, a yellow pin up here, the yellow pin on changing the weight on the stack. There's also a yellow pin under the chair beneath me to be able to change the height of it. If the equipment that you're using isn't feeling right for your body, there's kind of a one-size-fits-all to all the equipment that you use inside of whatever gym, but the big thing is you want to make sure that you can fit your body to the best of the ability to the equipment. And you do that by changing whatever is the color-coded equipment. When it comes to, I think it was the Precor stuff back at my old gym, it's like an orange lever or orange tab. And it always stands out. You want to make sure that you're looking for the thing that stands out. It's like a caution logo. And that's what the thing that you'd be able to change your position on the seat, change the machine to make it suit your body. All right, first working set. Let's send it. I'm gonna call that 13.5. Oh shit, dizzy. This machine actually hurts my wrists a little bit from getting wrist locked at jiu-jitsu. Realistically, when it comes to your close grip bench, it shouldn't look too different from your normal bench press. Close grip is only like half a hand distance closer than your normal bench press distance. So wherever you usually bench, bring it in half of a hand, and that's enough to be able to tuck your elbows in, keep your lats tight, do the same bench press setup that you usually do, lat depression, scap retraction, nice little arch in your lumbar so you can use your abs to be able to brace your core, heels under your ass, push your heels to the floor. It's exactly the same as a normal bench press, but with a tricep focus. So watch how I set up here, and watch how I brace. And that's why you use safety rails, so you don't get squashed. So thanks to the pre-workout, thanks to the endorphins and a little bit of a pump that I've got going on, I no longer feel like not training. I feel good. I'm sure that'll fade as the workout progresses, but it is what it is. Every time I feel like staying at home, not training, or I utter the words, especially in front of my kids, I don't want to go to the gym, don't want to train, all I hear in my head is that beautiful Viking looking dude with the long hair and the beard and the great physique that looks deadly into the camera, and he says, go to the fucking gym. Papa Swolio, his voice lives in my head. See you back, have a good weekend. Yeah, Papa Swolio lives true in my head. Go to the fucking gym. it comes to unracking when you fail on the rails, most squat racks are set up so that you can have 3 20-kilo plates on one side before the bar will tip. Ask me how I found that out.
Good one, Dave.
See you, man. Have a great day.
No, I'm not thinking right.
Nah, just stop being fat.
I know, there's a bit of girth, man. There's a bit of girth. Catch you.
See you, man. Have a good weekend. That dude is one of the best people in this gym. All right, straight bar extensions, 12 to 15 reps. Watch how I hold my form. Thumbs over top so that you can take the tension off your wrist. If you're finding when you're doing press downs like that, you're getting a bit of tension in either side of your wrist, try to go into a false grip, into like a suicide grip, and then it'll take the tension away from your from the ligament inside of your wrist that connects to your thumb, and it'll just make you pressing a hell of a lot easier, or you're extending a hell of a lot easier. So thumbs over top, stick your bum out a little bit, and make sure when you're pressing down, your elbows stay in front. You almost want to keep your humerus perfectly vertical, so that way you can get full extension to the bottom, like this, okay? You're moving around the body. We're not pressing down, we're not using it as a compound movement, we're using it as an isolation movement. So you notice on this exercise, I'm not actually going to full lock, I'm not going to full extension where I can contract the shit out of it. I'm actually going in between the range of motion. I want to keep constant tension on it so that I can work the mid-range of the tricep. I'm not going to gain anything by holding out and locking out like that. It's just an isometric contraction. I want to make sure I'm keeping the tension in between, building up as much lactic acid pain as possible, and trying to stretch the fascia. That's the idea, at least. A little bit more rest, and then second part of rest pause. And again, I've lost count, so fuck it, let's just go. Dave, why aren't you doing volume? Why aren't you doing extra sets? Why are you only doing 2 sets to failure? Because muscle growth doesn't come from volume. Muscle growth comes from stimulation, progressive overload, and also intensity. You want to make sure you're training intensely. You want to push to failure. You get one shot to be able to go 100% of your ability. Any set after that is considered a submaximal effort because you don't get ever 100% ever again. The first time you do your first exercise, everything is diminished after that. So that's why I only do 2 sets. First set for the performance marker, second set for a little bit more metabolic byproduct, a little bit more pump, just a little bit more fatigue. Anything further than that, I'm not yielding anything. The first set is where the reps count. The second set is a little bit extra, but it's always going to be less, much less than the first one. Like that first set of tricep press downs that I did, it was on plate number 12, plate number 11, somewhere around there. And then that second set, I went down to plate number 9. So already we're down 3 plates, 2 or 3 plates. That there is going to allow me to fatigue. It's allowing me to stay in that rep range, and it allows me to be able to just keep pushing. And I'm starting to get to the point of the workout where I can't brain anymore. So let's just get this one done. That's a little bit adventurous. All right, overhead extension. So notice I'm pointing my elbow towards the roof. I extend straight up. My upper arm doesn't move the entire time. You want to make sure that you're choosing your range of motion. Fuck, almost died. You want to choose your range of motion for where you're trying to work. If you're trying to work peak contraction, have it so that the cable comes and it's at 90 degrees from peak contraction. If you want to work on the mid-range, cable comes a little bit lower and it's in the mid-range here. If you want to work on making it, this is pointless, but if you want to work on making it so that the hardest point of the range of motion is where you're fully locked out at the bottom, then you have it so that it's 90 degrees from the lever, okay? So wherever the cable lays, 90 degrees, that's maximum tension. So for myself, I want to work on the mid-range. So mine is gonna be about there. And then with your seat, make sure you're able to get your armpits all the way over the seat so you're hugging it. Like so. All right, seated alternating dumbbell curls. Meant to do 12 to 15 on this exercise, but there's no 15 kilo dumbbells that I know that I can do for that rep range. So I've got to improvise. I either go up over 20 reps with the 12s, or I aim to do 12 reps with a little bit of swing, a little bit of body English in it with the 17s. So I'm opting for the 17s. Let's see how we go. I want to try and keep it as strict as possible at the bottom, almost like flex your triceps at the bottom. Full supination at the top, keep your humerus where it is, keep it vertical, just like we did over on the tricep press downs, because you're not using your shoulder, you're not doing a front raise, you're not doing this weird like Saturday night fever boogie sort of shit. Keep it strict. Alternating curls, keep your knees in front when you're doing them seated, keep your knees in front, chest up tall, shoulders back, and then up, fully supinate, contract, and then back down, supinate, and back down. A fun fact about the bicep is not primarily a flexion exercise or a flexion muscle. It's to supinate, it's to be able to articulate the hand over. So the primary exercise, the short head, switches over, it rotates the arm over. So when you're doing curls, if you're just banging out 45-degree easy bar curls, or you're doing hammer curls and stuff like that, you're using a hell of a lot of brachialis, you're using a hell of a lot of long head, but you're not getting that supinating action, which is the thing that's actually gonna add width to your bicep instead of just peak. So let's get into it. Got a bit ugly towards the end, but it is what it is. Tried to keep it as strict as possible for at least the first 10, and then 11 and 12 were a bit ugly, cheated a little bit. But all things considered, that's a performance marker that I've beaten. So next week, I'm gonna keep these. So I'm gonna try and make it next week that I do 11 really, really clean reps, and then 12 and 13 as a little bit of swing. But there's no way in hell I'm getting those for a fucking second set. So thanks to the level of fatigue in the biceps, I'm gonna be trying to push for 20 with the 12s rather than trying to go for the 15s or 17s again. Starting to get a bit dizzy now. This morning I've only had 86 grams of carbs out of my 240 per day, and already I'm feeling dizzy, low blood sugar and all the rest of the good stuff. Thankfully the pre-workout is carrying me along in this session. And then after this, I've still got one more exercise for biceps after this. I've got rope hammer curls, and then I've got 10 rounds of 50-meter sprints on the Airdyne treadmill with 30 seconds rest in between rounds. So one thing that I got asked recently by a client yesterday, he said, "Dave, how often do you train legs?" And I looked at him square in the eyes and I said, "I don't. For where my goals are at the moment, I don't need to train legs. I am training my upper body to be strong and everything like that. I still train deadlifts, I still do, Romanians and good mornings and stuff like that, but it's very sporadic. I do those once every 2 weeks. The only reason I do them once every 2 weeks is to maintain the level of strength, size, and also, mobility. That's a big reason. I want to make sure I've got strong glutes to be able to keep my femurs tracking in the right direction, so whenever it comes to the weird fucking movements of jiu-jitsu, that I can do that. However, thanks to the size of my quads and hamstrings the way that they are now, I can't do a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff. Like, I can't do arm bars from closed guard. I can't do triangles from closed guard or half guard or fucking any triangle in general, just because my legs are so damn short, but they're so damn big. And I can triangle teenagers, I can triangle women, but I can't triangle any dudes. The moment that I throw a triangle on, even if I just close my guard in the triangle position before I even set anything up, try and get the arm over, I'm getting stacked past, they're slipping out, you know, and it's not advantageous for me. If I can actually lose some size off my legs, it'll be a good thing. It'll be allowing me to be able to do what my goals are for jiu-jitsu more than anything else. Like, I used to have decent size. Actually, my fucking legs used to be huge. They used to be disproportionately big compared to my upper body. And when it came to bodybuilding, I loved it. Like, my nickname used to be Legs. My nickname at my old club back at Good Life used to be Gorilla Glutes. And I used to be that dickhead in the gym that only wore spats, that only wore skins into the gym. And you'd know when it was leg day for me because I'd wear these like Ronnie Coleman bright fucking yellow skins and go and squat, you know, 3 plates, 4 plates, ass to ankles as many times as I could until I passed out or puked. And I used to train legs twice a week minimum. A lot of the times it was 3 times a week, and I'd tack on a lot of like, you know, like smaller stuff like shoulders and biceps and stuff like that to it. And the reason why I did that is because 2010, 2011, I competed as a junior in the A&B bodybuilding. I got told my legs weren't matching the rest of my physique because my upper body was so developed as a natural for that level. I was lean, but my legs were lacking. There was no shape. You know, there was cuts, but they were fucking small. And so from that point on, I vowed, because like I started seeing videos of Tom Platz, seeing him squatting, you know, 5 plates for 22 reps or whatever it was, and I was like, I want to fucking do that. And so I did. And so I trained legs 3 times a week for the next like 6 years. Yeah, it was good times. All right, 20 reps with it. One thing I'm noticing when it comes to symmetry when I do these is my left delt pops so much harder than my right delt. I'm wondering if I've actually got a slight injury inside the shoulder capsule, maybe a bit of supraspinatus tendonitis, infraspinatus problems. That's interesting. Something to always look out for when it comes to training and, you know, just overall health and well-being and mobility of your body is check out the size discrepancies between your body. Because there could be underlying things that you need to address. Rope hammer curls on the cables. I like to grab a little bit lower on the cables instead of right up on the knots, just so that I can get it apart properly because it starts to hurt your hands after a while. So I go about 2/3 of the way up, chest up tall, lean back into it, keep my upper arm still, and then up, pause, and then back down. Dave, why do you do so much cables? Dave, why do you not train optimally? Dave, you do blah, blah, blah. I train the way that I train because it works for my body. I've been training over 16 years. I know what works for me. I've got 150, 200 exercises that I could be doing in my repertoire that I've learnt over the years, and I've trialed it, I've measured it on clients, I've measured it on myself, and of that 200 exercises plus, only 50 maybe work for me, probably work for a lot of other people too. You have to stop paying attention to these outside influences and be able to try things for yourself. If something works well for you and you can measure it over a period of time, see that you've got progressive overload, see that you're getting bigger, see that you're getting stronger, you know, all these metrics to be able to determine performance, then it works for you. If you do something because some influencer, some scientist or something like that says, this is optimal and you should train this way and eat this way and do these things, take it with a grain of salt, apply it, see how it works for you. Some people, it doesn't work for. Not everyone can do the same thing. And it's really dogmatic to say that whatever science, you know, the big religion of science is true, and that's only true because it's measurable and they apply the scientific method. Yeah, they also said cigarettes 100 years ago were fucking healthy. They also said that butter is not good for you, that fats are not good for you, that carbs are not good for you, that protein's not good for you, that sugar and salt, like all these different things are not good for you. Measure it for your fucking self. Measure it for yourself and figure out if it works for you. You know, like I've got over the last 11, 12 years of being a trainer, I've had clients that were vegans, that did paleo, that did keto, that did high carb, low carb, like all these different things. They worked for everyone. The big common denominator with them all was calorie deficit when it came to fat loss, but that's a different story. When it came to training, I had people that used to thrive on German volume training, 10 sets of 10, and they grew like an absolute weed. They were doing like 30 sets of volume in a training session. They'd train for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, but they were growing like a weed. For myself, I can train 2 sets to failure, maybe 6, 7 exercises total in a workout, doing 14 working sets total, and I'm done, and I'm gonna grow. But that's me. You gotta find what works for you. You have to measure what works for you. That's why I do a lot of cables. That's why I do what I do. So go figure out what you're doing. Yet another love-hate relationship. I fucking hate this thing, but I love it at the same time. All right, let's go. Sadly, I've lost my pump already. It's what happens when you don't have enough carbs. Things start to suffer, things start to hurt, and your pump goes away really quickly. But anyway, here's what we're working with. Not bad. Won't be able to see fuck all because of this tattoo these days, but yeah, my left arm's definitely bigger than my right arm now. All right. Anyway, guys, we're done. I'm tired. I need some food. Have an amazing day. Much love. And subscribe if you haven't already. See ya. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for subscribing and leaving a review. It really helps us out. Until next time, take care and much love.